when do people achieve that level of, I suppose, like, is it 3, 6, 9 months in? And I think, like, maybe where are you at today with users? How far have they gone through this? Because I know you launched nearly a year ago now. And so how much data do you have supporting this? And how many people are, how far along are people through your program that you've created?
So the question is kind of like, when do people feel the benefits of fitness, right? So I'm going to make that comparison, right? So the longer that you train and the more intentional that you train, the more benefits, the compounding benefits that you feel, right? And so most people feel the difference within 1 to 7 days. That is the initial amount of time that it takes for somebody to say, whoa, this is different. Then it takes about 62 days on average to develop a totally new dominant neural pathway, meaning that you have created a structural lasting change in your brain. So that is the point where it's like you got to the gym and you could lift 15 pounds and now all of a sudden you can lift 20 pounds, and what used to be impossible for you or a ceiling to you has now become your baseline operating state, right? And then you can continue to build on it from there. So it's a compounding process that continues. So I'm the longest trainer of this. I've been using the system on my own as I've been developing it for almost 4 or 5 years total, daily, every day for 4 or 5 years. And some of our longest members that have been using the system are probably around somewhere around 9 to 12 months. And people at that time frame, and it doesn't take that, usually 3 to 6 months is the time where people say, my life has completely changed. And so a majority of people using the system right now are what we would consider high performers. So executives, athletes, creators, entrepreneurs, all the way up to nine-figure businesses, so 6, 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs, people that are running big companies. So that's what I would consider the early adopter phase, right? Similar to in exercise, how professional athletes were probably the first people that trained in fitness, right? Now everybody does it. So in the future that I see, this will be a foundational practice similar to exercise, but at the moment in the early adopter category, it's definitely people that are trying to achieve that next level of potential.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I also saw you launched a book recently. I'm not sure if I already mentioned that, but like, that's a big endeavor. Like, nobody goes out and writes a book while building a business. It's just so challenging. Actually, my last co-founder did something similar and he ended up quite distracted with his book and finding the right time to do that. How do you, I mean, these things obviously emerge together, right? And you have this knowledge and you put it together, but like, talk us through the process of writing that book, and congrats on getting it launched.
Thanks. Yeah. For people that haven't heard, the book is called The Frequency Era. It launched about a couple of weeks ago. The response has been amazing. It's been such a joy to create. So I had the thesis of the book I had in early, maybe late 24, early 25. And I tried to write it twice in 2025 and couldn't do it. And the reason is because I didn't have the foundational understanding of the science and the macroeconomics and things like that to have a cohesive argument that if somebody poked at it, that the building would stand on its own. And so I would get 2 or 3 chapters in and just be like, it's not a solid foundation to build on yet. So we continued to build ENCODED, and now almost 500 or more people have been using the system. We've been collecting a lot of anonymized aggregated data, responses from people. Tons of new science both existing science has been published for decades, and new science related to neuroscience and performance research has been coming out. Artificial intelligence has rapidly accelerated from even just the past 6 months. It's insane, the capabilities and how much is proliferating. And then in about February of 2026, it landed. It was like, oh, all the pieces connect together. And then I was able to write the entire book within about 3 months. So I would say that it was about 18 months of thinking and trying, right? Figuring out, what am I trying to say? How do I understand this at a level where I can explain it to someone in a clear, compelling, and cohesive way that's backed by science and evidence. And then about 3 months to write the manuscript, one month to do line edits, and away we are.